You are now live. Hold on, I gotta add someone in. Hold on. Request to join. I have no request, so he has to request me. We're waiting for Frederico to come on. Hello, hello. Hello. View requests. Hold on. There he is. Accept. Hey, hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
So
Next to you? Ciao, Eric.
I would be beside of me. Don't worry.
Sorry for
I'm
my
recording guy.
apologize for my English and also for the place where I am, but I'm in a small little room here in Kuwait.
No, that's okay.
We have a small little room too.
You look like Peter Cushing from Star Wars. It looks good.
So
Okay.
I saw that some fan of you, they don't know where you are, so you were upset because they didn't know where you are. You are in Italy. You've been in Vatican.
Yes, been all over Italy, and yes, I've been posting for months I'm going to be in Italy. And people go, "Are you in Italy?" I'm like, it's like anything, you know. It's like young kids; they just look at the pictures. They don't read what you put on top. It's like, so they always just ask me, "Oh, you got a frozen signal there?" We got good signal. He's frozen up. Opinion on carnivore diet? Stupid. We're here. He's froze. He's got a bad connection where he is.
Yes.
But he looks good in that picture.
Yeah. No, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Federico, you look like you're frozen when you're laughing.
You might have to lock yourself out and then come back on. Wait, you're in Italy? No, I'm in China. You disappeared?
You must say to your
Okay,
fan
hold on.
where you've been for a while.
I've been here for a while in Italy. But we'll accept him again. The joys of this. He's there, but he's not there. Well, isn't this fun? I'm going to start again, okay? Back in a minute. Back. We're telling your followers that you've started a live video. Well, tell them I'm in Italy. Instagram, Siri, tell them I'm in Italy. Where did he say he was?
Kuwait.
Well, Kuwait should have a better signal than that. Oh, here we go. He's back. Requesting. Here we go. What's up with this?
Maybe
Yes, I have
Hey.
a good signal. It's good. But I think it's you.
No, we got
No.
We're full.
Me too. I'm full. I'm okay.
Okay. I'm not full.
That's Kuwait. That's
Maybe
Kuwait.
maybe it's me.
We'll blame Kuwait.
No.
No, it's
So tell me, you've been where? You've been in Tuscany. You saw Alessandro Savi, which is my friend.
Yeah. Went. I don't know where I've been. I just know I've been in Italy.
You didn't know.
I
Yeah.
picked it up. I picked him up from Monte Gardini today. So
Okay.
For me, it's just Italy. I don't know the towns, the suburbs. I'm not there long enough to get to know them, so who cares?
Yeah, it's very complicated. Italy. It's very detailed. So I think you saw Alessandro Savi. You've been to Vatican City. You meet the Pope.
Yeah. Had some soup and crackers with the Pope. Got my new ring
Oh,
from the Vatican. See, from the Pope. This one here is from the Vatican, and this one here was blessed by an Orthodox priest when I was in
okay.
Russia. So I got one from the priest in Russia and one from the Vatican.
Now you're
Oh,
fine.
sure. I am an ordained
You
minister
are
in real
safe.
life, so
Yeah.
yes.
Listen, I want to ask you many questions. I want to ask you about your past career. I want to ask you about
Mhm.
some gossip of the
Okay, but
20s.
first of all, Federico, first of all, let me thank Lee
Yeah,
to
of
join with
course.
us.
Yes.
It was an idea because he's a good friend of mine and he came here. It was a shame that he did have the opportunity to show himself for the expo next week.
In Rimini, yes, there's the big
Yes.
expo in Rimini next week.
So he had a very short period here for a very long trip, only 4 days.
Plus, no companies wanted me. When I see that the companies take different people, Hanada, Yamamoto, fuck you. None of them want me because I guess people tell them I'm a bad person. So
Yeah.
Okay, we don't know this for sure.
I
So
know.
explain me why Yamamoto, fuck you.
No, they never get back to you. We'll get back to you. They
Yes,
never get back to you. So
happened
if
many
you want
things also
someone, you
to
get
me
back
with
to me.
Yamamoto, but the
To
company
me,
was very good.
even if you don't want someone, have the courtesy to get back. Don't just go, oh yeah, hold on, we'll get okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Just say no because you want to say no. Just say no.
But now it's much different than before. It's a completely different company. It's nothing to do
Mm.
with the previous one.
They all seem to go good. Then
Yeah,
they go
exactly.
down.
Yeah, no, thank you for this and nothing. I was talking to you today that you always do. You say everything you think. You don't have any issues to say what you think, but what you never talk about your career at the beginning when you are in your prime, and especially what was it, from 89 to 93, no? When you turn
Mhm.
pro, you turn pro in
Well, 89.
93.
Yeah, I came to America in '92 and turned pro in '93 and did the Niagara Falls because I was originally going to America to do the amateur Niagara Falls because in Australia, when I won the Mr. Australia at 17, they said I was too young to turn professional. Won it again at 18, said I was too young. Won it at 19, said I was too young. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm not going to do it again. So I got asked to go to America to do the Niagara Falls amateur. But when I was at Gold's Gym, Jim Mannion saw me, said, what was I doing? I said, I'm doing the amateur. He goes, what have you won? I said, well, I've won my national title 3 times. He's like, well, why don't you have a pro card? And they said I was too young. So Mannion contacted Wayne, who contacted Paul Graham back in Australia, and they gave him my pro card when I was in America. So I only planned on going for 2 weeks and I ended up being there almost 20 years. So, because that week, Ed Connors from Gold's Gym took some photos of me, sent them to Joe Weider, and that week I had a meeting with Joe Weider, and he gave me a contract.
But you were based in Austin, Texas, if I remember.
Towards the end, I was in Santa Monica, Venice for almost 10 years. Then I went to Austin, Texas for 4 years, and then I went to Scottsdale, Arizona for
Oh,
4
really?
years.
Scotland.
Yeah, but that is
I used
James.
to stay in Glendale.
Glendale.
Okay, Glendale, yeah.
Glendale.
Yes, 20 miles
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, I used to train when I lived in Scottsdale. I used to train with Rusty Jeffers a lot.
Rusty Jeffers, yes,
A good old
master.
bodybuilder. He's still competing.
Yeah,
Really good
I've
poser.
been
Really
in
good.
Tucson for 1 year, and he was from Tucson, I
Okay.
think. Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah. I went to Tucson. I went to Tucson in 1989. That's where I
Milo.
met Milos when I was 17. I went and did the AAU Mr. Universe. Carlos Rodriguez and Marlon
WBF
Darkin.
was WBF Mr. Universe. Yeah,
Yeah. AAU it was, and then I got runner-up in the universe in my class when I was 17.
yeah. You won when you were 17, the first, but yes, I remember. And in the best shape I think you ever had in your life has been for me has been 2002 in San Francisco when you won San Francisco, when you beat Cormier, Dexter, or not.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty good. People like some people like 97 at the Olympiad Ed, and some like 98 when I was a bit bigger, but then some liked when I was 42 and won the universe. Some say that conditioning
2013
was my best. Yeah, 2013. So people always ask me what's my best condition, but I don't judge it. I just leave it up to other people to
Yeah,
judge
no,
whatever they
may,
think.
may had my
I'm not judging, but
Yeah.
I think
What's your
you
opinion?
were really
Okay.
shredded. You were really.
Let me add my opinion. He never had the possibility to have his best condition because he stopped competing too soon in the IFBB.
Yeah, I got kicked out, so I never reached my potential.
2006.
Maybe it could have been a good thing though. Maybe getting kicked out and suspended could have saved my life.
So basically, you did six
But then I took
Mr.
up drag
Olympia,
racing.
six Mr. Olympia, 6 Ironman Pro Invitational, and 6 Arnold Classic.
Yeah, I got 6 in the Olympia twice and won 5th. But the time I got 5th, when the show was over, Paul Dillette was 4th, I was 5th, Kevin was 6th. But when the show was over, they moved Kevin up to 4th, moved Paul down to 5th, and moved me down to 6th. They changed the placings after the show.
Really?
Yes, it's famous. But you never know why.
Paul
What
was
happened?
going to kill me.
Why they did?
No, they said it was a calculation error.
Also, you got the prize.
Yeah, I got the
medal.
The medal. I got the
4th.
The glass bowl. I got the certificate for 5th place.
On the 5th year.
It wasn't until I got on the bus. I was getting on the bus to go to the banquet, and people are like, "Lee, sorry about your placing." I'm like, "I got 5th in my first Mr. Olympia. What's wrong about that?" They're like, "Oh, didn't you hear? You got moved down to 6th place." So
that's the way you heard.
That's how I heard. Yeah, and then on the Queen Mary, Paul hadn't heard yet, so I went over to Paul and said, "Paul, do you know you got moved down to 5th and I got moved to 6th? And I think Paul lost 20,000, I lost 10,000. He's like, "What happened?" I said, "I don't know, but Wayne's over there." When I looked over, Paul had Wayne by the neck up against the wall. He wanted to kill him.
But why did that happen? Why? Okay, it's not in my calculation. It's made on purpose.
Yeah, so who knows? But I think the truth was, after the show, Kevin was backstage. Him and Jim Mannion were. So.
Oh my God.
I think they went and changed it after that. So.
My God, I competed. I competed in Ironman in 2000. We were in 41, I think, on stage, and Cormier won. Cormier and Flex came second, and then I competed with Coleman twice in '98 in Germany and in Finland in the Post Olympia, in the Post Olympia tour. Yeah,
okay. I like the
European tour.
European tour
Was amazing, but at the time I didn't realize what competition was. I didn't get. I thought I can become better and better, and then never happened. So sometimes you miss the best part of your life. You think something better is going to come, but the best thing already came.
Okay, let me resume what we said so far with 2 sentences. For what I understood, listen to Lee, I got that he got genetics. That's why he got his pro card so early in his career, and genetics makes the differences between bodybuilders. And the second thing is, in this sport, there is a lot of politics, right?
Yeah, a lot of politics. Yeah, even though they say there's not, but if you watch, I have a new documentary on Prime Video called Lee Priest, Rebel with a Cause. Jay Cutler's on it, Jose Raymond's on it, Dennis James, Paul Dillette, Melvin Anthony, Chris Cormier, and they ask him all the question. Flex Lewis is on it, and they ask everyone the question. If Lee kept his mouth shut, would he have placed higher? And all of them, even Flex Lewis goes, yes. If Lee kept his mouth shut, he would have placed higher. So they all prove there's politics in the sport, because I shouldn't be judged on what I say. I should be judged on how I looked, So, and I never say anything personal against people. I spoke out against the organisation for the athletes. I never attacked like a official personally. I just talked about the IFBB as a whole and how the athletes should have been treated better, and I got punished for it. So
Yeah, you talk about another thing. You talk about genetics. You think you had beside your unbelievable muscle parts like like arms, and you think you had a great genetics or not? I mean, superior or not?
I would have had that good. But yeah, I think so because I was winning contests when I was 13 years old, and I placed third in the men's open when I was 14 and won state titles at 15. So I think to win your national title at 17 is a thing. And then also, like my mother, she started training at 38, and after 8 months of training, my mother and I were the first mother and son to win the couples together in the world. So, and then my mother won a few shows. So she had genetics. My grandfather, he used to do wrestling in the army, and he was sort of stocky build. So I think I had the genetics for bodybuilding. Too bad it wasn't for golf or fucking tennis, where I could have made a lot of money, or baseball. Fucking bodybuilding.
Listen, everybody asking you about your arms, how you can build these arms, but I want to ask you something because the arms probably you don't have a big problem to build your muscle, but about the glutes, the hamstring, and the lower back. What is your advice to a guy that close to the show is not able to shred the glutes, to make striated the glutes? Because at
Don't worry
that
about
time, the glutes they were not considered a lot. There was Gaspari, Torvilsen, few guys that were, but
Renell Genevieve. But yeah, the glutes were like, to me, when I got into bodybuilding, I looked at Tom Platz. I wanted to have Tom Platz's legs. I wanted to have Eddie Robinson's arms. I wanted to be freaky. I never once looked at a bodybuilding magazine and said, "Ooh, I want to have an ass like him." It's like, to me, my ass was solid, but it wasn't cross-styrated. And to me, like, I hate when they say shows are won from the back. You got to have a cross-styrated ass. It's like when you turn around to the back, it's called a back double bicep. I've seen guys win shows. They might have a styrated ass, but they have shit arms, but they win a show because they got ripped glutes. It's like, it's not called a rear double fucking cross styrated ass shot. It's called a double bicep shot. And some of these cunts don't have biceps, they don't have fucking calves, and they win a fucking show
I
because
make
I
this
think half of these
question for
judges want to
this.
suck their dick.
I know. Especially in the 2-on-2 classes, you see guys they don't have maybe great arm, great back, but they have granitic. And the real double bicep is more as posed than everybody posed
But it's
with
like
the trunks
us.
inside the as wide is like that.
But it's like the Pittsburgh Pro Show where Derek just
Yeah.
won and Nick got second, and they're like, "Oh, Derek's ass was
Yeah.
more cross-styrated."
Like that.
They were tied. There was a tie. But to me, from the back, Nick had better arms. He had better shoulders. His back's just as good. And like I said, it's called a rear double bicep shot, not a rear show as your fucking asshole shot. So I guess some judges just like asses. Who knows?
I think for a man, because he's a man, nobody I have to check the ass. He's not a woman that you have to. It's nice to see.
I got a lot of men upset with me because I said, if you're doing the hip thrusters, you're a fucking dickhead. Men can build your ass by doing squats and fucking lunges the hard way. If you're sitting there trying to fuck the air doing hip thrusts, you're a fucking dickhead. It looks stupid when men do
Trust
that.
is something I don't understand what does it mean, because there is no movement. It's not.
It's just like boom,
Yes.
boom.
This is the reason why
boom.
many that you can lift all the weight of the world because.
Oh yeah. I see women doing it with 500 pounds, and I figure, in a couple of years, your lower back's going to be fucked just from thrusting. They actually put more effort into hip thrust than they do fucking their husband.
It's a different kind of exercise anyway.
Yeah, but
Yes.
with their husband, they lay like a starfish.
Yes, to be.
But at the gym, they go,
Yes, to be husband or
boyfriend or judge or whatever. Who knows?
Okay.
Pause.
And about how many times do you beat Coleman? I remember 6 times. Can be.
1 year it was 7. He said 5, but it was 7 because we did the European tour and I beat him on all the first few shows until the last one that he won in Russia. And then, yeah, but he always said 5, but so I didn't want to bring up 7. Just
I count
it might affect
6.
him even more. But I'll be at the Euro show in July over in Europe, and Ronnie will be there. So we could be doing a seminar together. So I'll have to ask him about it.
But you beat everybody. Nasser, Rule, Cormier, Dexter, Flex Wheeler, also Kevin LeBron, everybody.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I really don't like the 212. It's like, to me, you know, I'd rather them do height classes if they were going to do under 5'7" over. But to me, they're giving out too many pro cars. Then they got the classic. It's like, if you're good enough bodybuilder, it shouldn't matter your height. You know, Liberata didn't have a 212. Franco didn't have a 212. Danny Padilla. And look at now, you got Derek, you got Bonac, you got Hardy. They're all 212, and they did well in the Open. Some of them won the Mr. Olympia. So you don't need a 212. It's just that we're making all these classes for fucking, I call them like the Down syndrome people, because I can't be a big bodybuilder. So what are we going to do next? Make a 180 class, a 190 class?
But if you remember, there was in the Olympia the two classes, no? There was
yeah, but they at the end, the winner,
the overall.
they go from the
there was
stage.
the overall between Frank Zane and Menzer. Remember?
But that's why I think they should go back, get rid of the 212, have like 5'7" and under and over, and have the winners of both, then do an overall.
So you can have only one Mr.
Because at the moment, between
don't-
Keon Pearson and I don't know, Samson Dauda, you know, it's tough to judge. Keon Pearson can.
I think I prefer Keon's physique. I think Keon in a couple of years, I think he'll win the Open Olympia. I'd like to see Keon go Open now, because at the Pittsburgh where he guest posed beside Sampson, you know, he looked just as good. I think if he was in shape, you know, I said another year or two, he could be a contender for the Open. And I think, you know, he'll get more respect in the Open and he'll make more money in the Open. So if he wins another 212, people go, oh, big deal. That was easy win. If he goes in the Open and pushes the big guys, he'll get a lot more fans and a lot more following from that.
But there are guys like Sean Clarida that are too small. Skeleton they cannot do Open.
There you go. I would like to ask you, we may use the same parameters for the classic physique as well.
Well, I never liked classic because, you know, back in the...
That's why I'm telling you. So you maybe can say that they should compete in the Open class.
Well, I think there's a few guys who can go in classic and do Open, like that Mike Summersfeld. He could go in the Open. Chris Bumstead could go in the Open. But to me, all these other classes like classic and physique are for failed bodybuilders who can't be Open bodybuilders. So it's like we've dumbed it down. Because to me, back in the day, we had classic bodybuilders. Yes. You had Barry DeMay, Bob Paris and that. And what happened was, pretty much after Dorian, his stomach got bigger because the judges didn't keep it in check. And they said, if your stomach gets too big, we're going to mark you down. So a lot of guys lost their stomach, but then they gave first place to the guys with big stomachs. So everyone got big again. Then the judges go, this is getting out of control. We've got to make classic. The same with women's bodybuilding. When I was married to Kathy, they said, you women have to lose 20%. You're getting too big. So Kathy and a lot of the women lost 20%, and they gave it to the big girls. So the smaller girls are like, we might as well get big. Then they're like, you're getting too big. Now we've got to make physique. Well, look at bikini. Now they've got this stupid fit model class. And they say, we want the fit model to look like how the bikini girl used to look. Well, if you had kept judging properly and didn't let the bikini girls get big, you wouldn't have to make another fucking class. It's like we just keep making classes because the judges can't fucking stick to their rules and judge them how they're meant to fucking judge them.
So do you believe that the wrong decision from the organization that are making this kind of confusion?
It's stupid because like now they're going to have this new class, then they'll get too big, they'll make another class. Like even the wellness girls are starting to get bigger now. So
they look like horses. The asses look like horses. Amazing, but it's too much, you know.
But do you believe this is going to is bringing the level of competitors at the better higher level or not?
I think it's watered it down because you watch now, when they give out pro cards, guy to get second or third can get a pro card. To me, some of these guys who win their pro card look like bad amateurs. And the first thing they ask them, okay, now you got your pro card, what are you going to do? They're like, oh, I'm going to take a couple of years off to put more size on. That's because you weren't ready to get your fucking pro card. You know, back in the old days, there'd be 1 or 2 or 3 pro cards a year. You know, it used to be like Kevin, Flex, and Chris, and that say Chris got his pro card, Flex and Kevin, and then would have to train for another year. So another year of training, they got better. And when those guys got their pro card, like Kevin, when he got his pro card, he got second in the Olympia straight away. When all those guys turned pro, they were ready to stand on a pro stage and do well straight away. Now these guys couldn't fucking stand on an amateur stage.
You know, Lee, there is no more. There is no
believe
more title at the moment. There is no more European, Australasian, World, Universe. That time there was the stage. No, you grow up and then when you're ready, you turn pro. Now there is the pro card. Only pro card to win.
Well, a pro card means nothing now. It's like this little card in the fucking hotel room. That's all it is. Before, you go into a gym in the 80s, 90s, Gold's Gym, you could look at someone and go, he's a pro, she's a pro.
Mm-hmm.
Now I go into a gym and these people who look like they're fucking anorexic come up and go, I'm a professional. I'm like, what, at fucking darts? It's like, oh no, I'm a men's board short. Well, go fucking get a surfboard and go to the beach with the bikini girls. Go to the Hawaiian tropics. You're wasting everyone's fucking time at the contest. No one wants to see you. At Pittsburgh and New York, once the Open was over, people left. The only one hanging around are your family and friends and the fucking schmoes because no one gives a fuck. And half of them don't make money. They've got a rich husband to fund their hobby. So you're not really professional when you can't make $1 from it. So go get OnlyFans. Most have OnlyFans. It's the only way they're going to make money sitting on a dildo.
Okay, may I resume for
Yes.
the public a little bit?
Yes.
I'm a little bit more politician.
Okay.
Okay, for what I understood, you're saying that.
I want to be like Sean Ray.
Okay, good.
What about Sean Ray? You like Sean Ray or no? You don't like nobody. No.
We have a love-hate relationship. I don't take him serious, so he says stuff about me, but I don't care. I just let him go. It's like Bob. Bob and I have our little disagreements, but I'll watch that.
We say hello to everybody.
Yeah, the voice of bodybuilding that him and Sean do. I don't mind watching it. It's entertaining, so I don't hold grudges or life's too short to be getting mad at people. Just have a laugh.
You're getting wise, huh? You're getting.
No.
I've always been wise, but I'm just straight to the point still, and they don't like that.
So I was trying to say that
Yes.
basically, if I correctly understood, people now that are getting pro card just to a kind of a passport to sell their stuff on the internet as the
Just to put in their name.
Coaching
So
online.
now that can be like, I used to be Lee Priest, but now I'm IFBB Pro Lee Priest. Ooh, fucking will be. I can put it in my title on Facebook. It's like when you're going to tell someone you're a pro, then you shouldn't be a fucking pro.
And the second things that I got from your speech
Yes.
is that
Was it motivating?
No, I'm saying that because the level of competitors is going down,
That's water.
nobody watched the show on live, and when the open class is gone, everybody left.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And the thing is too, you look back in the old days. Hate to keep saying that because I'm getting old, but you knew who all the pros were. You knew their names. You knew how they looked. You could see a silhouette and know. But now, when I watch a pro lineup, apart from maybe the top 3 or 4, I don't know anyone else's name. Whereas back in the day, the lineup was so much more stacked.
There was a 9 competition before. There was 9-10 competition, and there was 2 competition. You were not allowed to compete for people, the normal people. I mean, it was Olympia and Arnold Classic was invitation and the qualification. There was, I think, only 8 or 9. So this is the reason why the lineup was so big, because there was no show during the year. Now there is one show or couple of shows per week.
But even back in the day, you look at the Ironman, the Arnold Classic, the Ironman, the Arnold Classic, the San Francisco, the Night of Champions. All of them were a big, good stacked lineup. The only one missed it was Mr. Olympia. All the top pros were in all the contests. Now, some pro shows you might only get 2 names, and to me, like I love Nick Walker. He looks great, but when he turned pro and that, he go one show a year. It's like you're 25, 26. When you're young, do as many as you can. It's like, I think pros should be made do at least 2 or 3 shows a year. It's better for the promoters. It's better for the fans. And seriously, that's all you got to do. Eat, sleep, and train. How fucking hard is it to get in shape and compete?
But as a pro, it means you to live from what your profession.
Oh, yeah, you should be able to live from it. Most can't make a living from it. I said back in the day, you'd have guys doing the gay for pay. Guys were selling drugs. Some made a good living, but even now, look at all the pros now who call themselves pros. They're not making a living from bodybuilding. They're doing other stuff to make a living. Could you imagine Tiger Woods or LeBron and all them out there for a normal job? Or, hi, I'm LeBron. Buy my Nike shoe. Use code LeBron. Get 10% off because I need the money. It's like, we're out there like little fucking idiots. It's embarrassing to call yourself a pro when you're not making a money. You're actually spending money. A lot of these guys spend money on their food, their plane ticket, their pro card, the hotel. They do a show and they're $10,000 in the hole. They haven't made money. So how can you be professional?
Usually you lose money. Usually you lose, not money.
There's never going to be a change until the athletes stand together. And I'm not for like demanding shit, but it has to be fair. Promoters make money, but the athletes are the ones selling the tickets, bringing the people in. And guess what, IFBB or whoever, without the athletes, you don't have a contest. So if all the athletes stood together and said, we want this, this, and this, if we don't get it, we're not walking on the Mr. Olympia stage. They've sold Mr. Olympia tickets. People have come from all over the world. There's sponsors there. Do you think they're going to cancel the show if all the competitors said, we're not walking out on stage unless we get this, this, and this? They would get this, this, and this because they're not going to cancel the show. But the athletes, their egos are too big. They're in it for themselves. They don't think about the whole group as a whole, where they could make the sport better if they all stood together.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, it's divide and conquer. The old, back in the day, it was like they suspend me, all the other athletes go, oh, we better not say anything, we'll get in trouble. Yeah, but if we all get in trouble and they suspend all of us, they got no fucking contest. So,
the problem, if you do this alone, you would get slapped in the face.
If you do it alone, like I did, then you get in trouble. But if we all did it together, how could they imagine if the whole Mr. Olympia lineup said we're not walking out on stage tomorrow until we get these demands? They're not going to suspend the whole lineup because then next year they wouldn't have any good competitors at their contest. So.
Yes, of course.
But imagine you can find the Aladdin lamp. You may decide how to do some good changes in which direction this sport, what we should do.
I just think it should just be fair when it comes down to, there's so many things. It's like, yes, some of the prize money's gone up, but still bodybuilding really hasn't progressed. It's like, I'll get somebody.
Main prize money.
Yeah.
Only the main prize money.
Yeah, but it's like, I would go to places like, you need someone to kick down doors, because if you go to contests, it's always supplement sponsors and that. You need someone to go to, say, like Corvette, Ford, muscle cars, try and get some connection there. Imagine, Chris Bumstead doing a Corvette commercial, the arm hanging out the window. You got to think outside the box. Yeah, you might get a lot of knockbacks, but if you had someone go to 5,000 different companies, you might get a whole new 1,000 sponsors that are outside the box that aren't in bodybuilding. And you need, look at Red Bull. Why has no one got Red Bull on board? Red Bull sponsors some of the dummest fucking sports I've seen. People jumping off the pier into the water.
Could be doping is something that is blocking the bodybuilding from everywhere.
But you figure every sport Red Bull sponsors, the biggest sports, they're all using steroids. But the only problem is us stupid bodybuilders talk about it all the time. NFL is not talking about it. All the other sports, soccer players use it. Soccer players were one of the biggest users of steroids when Sports Illustrated did a thing. But the thing is, we talk about it so much. It's like, stop talking about steroids and try get some sponsors outside the box and try clean it up a bit. But everyone wants to talk about this online and trend and that. It's like, look at these big linebackers in the NFL. Yeah, NFL players are using it. But they're not talking about it.
Do you remember that back in the day you've been you say that people say that you were talking too much about this. You are very clear, very very open about what you think about now, what they do, and people, they don't know nothing about nothing, or they assume to be somebody that they are not, and now is even too much here. Is even too much here. I can tell you here in Kuwait is something that is not where I am, luckily, but in some other places, some other gym, and there is a lot of ignorance, and they put gear above everything, above training, because there is not a lot of culture of training. There is no historical training.
Yeah, that's the thing. Anyone that gets into bodybuilding should be focused on their training, their eating, the resting, and then if you got the genetics to become a pro, because you should be winning shows naturally before you even touch steroids if you got the genetics. I've seen guys take steroids for 10, 15 years and still look the same, and they keep upping the dose. They don't get any better. They're just doing damage inside, and that's another thing. When I was here, I went in Rome. I went to see Luca. His name's Luca.
Yeah, we went today.
He's a friend. He's a doctor. Has been also. He competed also at Mr. Universe. So he's got knowledge and also he knows what he's about bodybuilding and
and Enrique here was very happy because in Australia I had my heart checked and they're like, your heart's not working properly to give me medication. I'm thinking, oh fuck, I'm gonna have a heart attack. And
no, tell them you sign for your life insurance.
Yeah, I even got fucking travel insurance when I come away just in case I drop dead. So I was like, but he does the test today and he's looking at my heart. He's like, and he looked again.
I said, perfect.
He's like, your heart's perfect. He goes, for a guy who's done what you've done, competing, used steroids. I know you haven't abused them. He goes, you got the heart.
You didn't have any abuse.
No, I never abused them. No, yeah, but he said my heart it's like
really?
A 30-year-old. He goes, he's seen people where my contraction and that. He goes, it's perfect. In Australia, they said my contraction was like 47%. He's like 47%. He goes, I can see it now.
I remember that you, I don't know, 20 years ago, I don't know, I read something about that you had some trouble in the heart.
I had a viral cardiomyopathy where I had an infection go to my heart.
And there's been many speculation about that, of course, because of bodybuilding. Yeah.
He has to be accused to use DMP as well, too.
I have been accused of everything, but this is why I tell people I've used small amounts, and even the doctor said today, he's like, I can see because your heart. He goes, for what you've done, he goes, I wouldn't even really know. You did
a ECG under effort and also ultrasound, Doppler.
And the ultrasound and that, yeah. So, because in Australia, like you go to sometimes normal doctors, if you're any sports athlete where you use your body, your liver count's going to be a bit higher naturally and stuff like that because you're training hard, you're breaking the muscle down. But normal doctors are like, oh my God, your liver's going to pack it in.
Since now he checked this, is perfectly fine, and he got his pro card back, he may be considering to go back to competing.
If I don't get suspended again.
How many times have you been suspended? Twice?
No.
3 or 4.
3 or 4. Then I got suspended for life, and then a couple of times I got suspended, but because I wanted to compete, I paid the $5,000 fine so I could compete in a show. And I think I paid $5,000 fine once to do the Arnold because I wanted to compete in it, and I only won $1,000 back. But then it's like in total, I paid like $17,000 to $20,000 in fines. So I've paid more in fines than some professional guys have won. So, or anyone that's won money should thank me because you probably got some of my fine money.
Do you think you've been underrated in your career? Around pro bodybuilding.
A lot of people say that, and people even say, like dickheads online, you never won the Olympia, you never won the Olympia. But guess what? I knew I'd never win. I'm a realist. I knew I wasn't going to win the Olympia. To me, competing against Dorian and Nasser and Paul Dillette and those people, me getting 5th place in the Open Olympia, that's like a win to me. Me beating Cormier and Dexter and all them at the, San Francisco. That's a win for me because I said there was no 212 for me. I only had to do the Open when I won the Australian Pro Show and Cormier was second there and that. So to me, if I got the top 3 at any pro show, I said I got top 6 at the Olympia twice when you had the big guys and stuff. So I knew I wasn't going to win. So that's why in a lot of my videos, you know, when Mitsuru would film me, I'm like, don't talk to me. I'm training for 10th place, you know, because back then, if you got 10th, it qualified you for next year.
Yes.
So I had my mind set on getting 10th. So if I got 7th or 6th or 5th, that's a bonus. So, you know, I wasn't one of these guys, I'm going to win, I'm going to win. I just got in shape. And did the best I could. And I didn't care, because once the show was over that night, I never even thought about it. My fans got upset, but I'm like, you know what? That's yesterday. That's history. I'm just going back to the gym. I don't give a shit, you know. So
This is the right attitude. But for you, the more overrated and the most underrated athlete, for me, the most underrated, three underrated. One, I know that Gian Enrico Aaron Baker, you know, Aaron Baker, I think has been one of the most underrated. Charles Claremont and Thierry Pastel. I think Thierry Pastel has been killed by
Thierry Pastel was phenomenal.
even back in the day, I thought, what's his name when he went IFBB, got a few screwing, was
Cowan.
Edward Cowan.
Yeah, he did pre-Olympia,
He should have-
86, 87, 88.
88,
Yes.
he looked really good.
In Los Angeles. Was,
Okay. We have another name, but we need to go back. It was Mike Messner.
Yeah, he got screwed. And also, remember Phil Hill. Phil Hill back in the day, I think he got overlooked a few times.
Hill did only one Olympia, I think, in 88. Yeah.
Yeah. And he posed the music of the night from
Yes,
Phantom of the Opera.
exactly.
Beautiful routine it was.
Yeah, that's routine. Something I really miss a lot.
Yeah. Well, back then it's like people. To me, it's like I used to try and find music that would move people, and sometimes it would feel weird because you're on stage. If someone comes out, it's just like boom, boom, like boom, boom, boom.
I remember that. I
song,
connected the athlete. I related the athlete with the music, and what you remember of that year, of that Olympia, of that competition was the posing routine, not the comparison.
And that's the thing too. When you're on stage, the crowd might be quiet because they're just like in awe. You've caught them. Like you're moving so graceful. You got a music or song that makes them feel emotions.
Tell me the best top five best posers.
Top five best posers. I'll go Labrada, Muhammad Makaway. Makaway was a good poser. Bob Paris was a good poser. There's three. Even though he doesn't get a lot of things, but even Rusty Jeffers, he has even like a book at the art of posing. Rusty Jeffers is a great poser. You know, people go like Kai was entertaining. To me, Kai wasn't really a poser. I'd be like, oh, that was a great routine. Kai was entertaining, but to me, that's not posing.
What about Kevin Leroney, Melvin Anthony?
Melvin was good, but even then, Melvin did a lot of the, you know, pop locking. To me, that's not posing. It's entertaining, for sure.
Yes.
But I prefer people. That move gracefully. Even like if they're doing a pose.
Sean Ray was a great.
Sean Ray was a good poser because Sean Ray's like even these movements where even in the song, if they're doing that, even they use their fingers to close their fist. Everything's just almost like gracefully done.
Yes,
but nobody was like Lila Breda. Lila Breda was something perfect in every moment.
Very good.
But Vince Taylor was great.
Vince Taylor was good. He'd do like the thing, but he would do the robot and like the Terminator.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he did them many times too. Federico.
Yeah, well, even like I said, I think Bob Paris was really good poser too. He did a lot of nice
with
Chapman,
the Chapman song, and yes, that.
That's the one where he finished laying on the stage, just sort of laid down.
I know. Yeah. So a few Olympias that someone lost because they give you 1 point of the posing routine.
Oh yeah, it's always the. I actually like when Bob Paris was at the 88. He posed to the theme from The Natural. Remember that movie, The Natural?
No.
It was like a baseball movie. It had a really good theme to it. He really posed. If you can find Bob Paris posing to the theme The Natural, it's really good. It's like really good.
Bob Paris was one of the best classics.
Yeah. He was a nice guy. When I got married, he actually came to my house and brought me and Kathy, my wife, a bottle of wine, and he also wanted 2 bottles of vodka.
A liter of vodka.
2 bottles, just like 2 little tents.
Okay, and the most overrated for you? Because it is easier to find an underrated, but overrated, I think, is more difficult to get it.
It's hard to say overrated overrated, when I think of overrated, I wouldn't say Flex was overrated, but to me, there was a lot of shows where Flex wasn't his best, but because he had beautiful shape, he would beat people. And to me, that sort of makes him overrated because you got the name, you got the hype, the Sultan of Symmetry, so he could come in 90% and still win a show. So to me, that's being overrated. If you can come in and you're off, and then when they give a speech, yeah, I'm glad I won, but you know, I'm only 90% today. To me, that's just like being an arsehole. You're actually saying to the other guys, you can't beat me at 90%. So it's like, you're being a fucking dick, you know? It's like, you can't beat me 90%. So there's been a few like that where you're like, yeah, you know, so, you know.
Yeah.
Now, his best was great.
Oh,
So
I think like Flex,
1993,
well, Flex's best even says when he was 218, when he was really shredded, because he looked bigger. He looked 240, but then he tried to play the size game. When he was 240, he didn't look as good.
exactly. I think his best was 1993.
And most guys look better when they're a bit lighter. Everyone wants to, who cares about your weight? On stage, it's an illusion like that. You're looking at it today when I won to San Francisco, when you said I was good. When I come off stage, people goes, Lee, what did you weigh? I said,
The
what do you
lowest,
think I weighed? They're like,
the lowest
230.
you ever been.
Yeah, they said 235. They said, they're like, oh, you weigh 235. You look like, I said, I weighed 199 pounds. And I used to give Chris a hard time. I'm like, Chris, what did you weigh? He's like 260. I went, oh, you got beat by a guy under 200. He's like, fuck off.
Yeah, but
It's all an illusion. Up on stage, if you've got the small, you know, the deep cuts here and your shoulders sticking out, you look a lot bigger than you are. You come in bigger, you look smoother.
Sean Roden, when he won the Olympia, was 237 pounds.
Yeah. So people, like I said, they got this whole thing. I'm weighing this on stage. Who cares what you weigh on stage? It's how you look. Look at as you said, Sean Clarita. He doesn't look, you know, 178 or 180 something. When he's on stage, he looks great. You know, you're not thinking, oh, he only weighs this much. You wouldn't know. What about Labrada? I think Labrada, he weighed the most as like 186 or something, and standing beside all the other guys, he didn't look out of place. He looked great because of his symmetry, the definition. You know, he looked great up there in the open lineup, and those guys outweighed him by 60, 70 pounds.
yeah, I know.
I have a question for Lee now. So, in the last 10, probably 15 years now, it seems that he can compete without a coach.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion about coach?
I don't like look, in the beginning, if you're first starting out, you might have someone to show you how to do the exercises properly. If you've been doing it year after year, you know how to exercise. If you've got a journal, you're eating different foods. You know what foods, the carbohydrates, you might be carbohydrate sensitive. If you're taking notes, you know what food affects you. And then if you are going to take the steroid supplements, I've always said you take one at a time. You take testosterone. How do you feel? How does it affect you? Take notes. Next time you might take Deca. Next time. But guys start on 4 different drugs and they're like, oh, the drugs are working. I'm like, how do you know what one's working? But if you've been doing that year after year, me coming to like
that's the reason why probably they pick up the coaches, no?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you can't. If a coach come to me, or if I was a coach and I was coaching you, I'd say, here, eat this, take that, go away. In a couple of weeks, how do you feel? Okay, cut this out, add this in. I don't know. I'm just going to experiment with him till I get it right. And that's what they're doing. Nobody knows your body better than you, but a lot of people are just
But
lazy.
also,
They want to
not
be told what to
everybody
do.
in the sport have the capacity of the to do this. And so not everybody is so smart and so disciplined to get the diary
You don't have
and
to
to
be
think.
smart. All you have to do is eat clean and do cardio and train hard. It's not rocket science here. Bodybuilding is so basic, but there's just so much shit online with this bro science and all that. People overthink it. You don't need to go crazy doing all the stupid stuff they do.
Do you believe it's the same method as to be used in the training? So go to the basic?
Yeah, I always did the basics when it comes to training. It's like people just, like you got young kids now, they're like, Lee, I want to work on this little bit just here. I'm like, you haven't even got a fucking shoulder to work on that bit. How about you build the shoulder first? It's like having a big thing of clay. You start molding it. And once you get the thing, then you start adding the little bits in. But you can't add the little bits until you got the main.
Bodybuilding training is very easy. It's very simple, basically, and there is everything has been discovered since many years.
Okay.
for everything.
But which one was the most stupid question you received about this? Remember, you have we talk about, he has a column on MD, the stupid question of the
Yeah,
month. I was
a
laughing
muscle
all the time. And
development.
which one? Your confession?
The confessions.
The confession. So, which one was the most stupid question you received about training, right?
Oh, I just say so many, but I'd even come up with stupid shit. I'd tell people, when Arnold in Pumping Iron said, you get the pump, it's like coming. They said, yeah. I said, you know what? I said, I spoke to Arnold one day and he told me what they used to do was they'd warm up. And once you get really hot, the pores of your skin open up. And they used to get their semen and rub it on there. So the semen had testosterone and it would soak into the muscle and their arms would get bigger. I said that as a joke and I had people email me, I've been rubbing semen on my biceps, but they're not growing. What's wrong? I said, did you fucking believe me? So I said it as a joke and people are actually rubbing their fucking semen on their muscles thinking it was going to soak in and grow. I'm like...
The human brain is unbelievable. Everything is in your brain.
And that's the thing I tell people too, in bodybuilding, you have to be strong, yes, physically to lift heavy weights. But if you want to get into bodybuilding and go through the dieting, the cardio, how you got to be so strict, the strongest thing you're going to use the strongest thing you'll ever use in bodybuilding is up here. You got to be strong up here mentally and be smart and have the brains and the heart to push through it. It's like young kids want it overnight. Bodybuilding is years and years and years. And if you don't have the brain and the heart to sacrifice shit for 8, 10, 9 years, you're not going to be a fucking bodybuilder if you haven't got the brains and the heart to drive through all those things,
But that's the reason why we have more divisions, so we can be competitive in 6 months.
Yeah.
So like the chicken are growing
You
very fast in there.
That's what I said. They're dumbing it down. They're giving out
the guys come without
cards.
ever trained in their life, and they come with the preparation. They say, I have Anadrol 50, I have Trembolone, I have Equipoise, I have test, I want to start to train. And they have the phone, and they put the earphone, and they stay at the phone, and they don't train. They don't know how to do deadlift, they don't know how to do squat, rowing. They do only cable and machine, and
take photos. And that's the thing I tell people. I said, if you're a serious bodybuilder, if you're a serious
anybody like this, because
if you're a serious bodybuilder and you want to be a serious bodybuilder and you take your phone into the gym, you're a fucking idiot.
Say, but
if you
play rugby, do you use the phone?
Court.
If you swim, if you drive it,
if you're boxing in between rounds, you get on your phone. If you're boxing, it's like they say, Lee. They're like, Lee, I use it for music. I said, okay, you go to pick a song. All of a sudden, you see you got 5 messages. You're going to read the messages, and now you're focused on the training. Say it's a shitty message from your wife or somebody. You're like, fuck. It's like, if you can't go an hour to 2 hours without your phone, look, if you're a doctor on call, I understand. Leave your phone and it's music in the gym. But when I used to go to the gym, I was so excited to train. Even if there was music playing, I couldn't tell you. It's just background noise. I was so focused on doing my exercise. I'm not worried about a song. I'm not trying to pick a song to motivate me so I can squat heavy.
Also
just go
because
fucking
you
squat
need
because
to
that's
work
what
with
you
your
wanted to do.
testosterone, with your focus, and you have to feel the muscle. You have to listen. If an injury is coming, you have to. You cannot have noise. I think you cannot. It's polluted.
Yeah.
Johnny, yes, just say exactly the same in the rest of the interview.
Yeah.
Just leave the phone out of the gym.
Yeah, and it's like I like it too when I watch 2 people training, and they've both got headphones on. I'm like, how do you spot each other? And to me, back in the old days, you'd go to the gym. There's more comradeship. You'd talk to people. If somebody needed a spot, you'd go help them. Now everyone's in their own little world. They don't talk to each other. Nobody helps each other anymore. It's like they go take their photos.
They don't train together. They train beside them.
Yeah. It's just and they got the tripod.
People at the restaurant, but there are some countries like I think in Italy everybody had the phone, but not like here. Here is something crazy. You don't understand. It seems that but probably because they don't have a cultural background. Because before everything was forbidden. Now everything is open, so everything is online. So they realize a new world, but it seems that they cannot do anything. They cannot start anything if the telephone is not on. Uh,
And the funny thing was, even when I was in contest shape and I had to do photo shoots, I hated taking my shirt off and wearing a tank top. I'd always train in a t-shirt. And if I had to do a photo shoot, I'd go to a gym that wasn't crowded. If the gym was crowded, I wouldn't do the photo shoot. But now I see these young kids taking their shirts off, pose and taking photos. I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at? You got no muscle. And like I said, I was a competitive pro, and I wouldn't even do that. It's like, you're fucking delusional. And they're standing there posing, and then they post their photos on Instagram. I'm like, I look at some of these pages, like people who abuse me. Oh, Lee, you look like shit. And then I look at their Instagram page, every pose, every page, they're posing. I'm like, you say I look like shit. You look like you fucking just come out of Auschwitz. It's like, what the fuck? Or you got stage 4 cancer? What the fuck you doing? It's like, and then you're like, the fuck. And now it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, when I see people with their phone and that, I know they're not serious. Look, if you're doing cardio, fine. You know, walking on the treadmill, have your music, watch YouTube. But if you're lifting weights, you've got to be focused on lifting
I
the weight.
don't see anybody. Even pro. If I have to tell you the truth, there are some pro that I see that they look all the same. Listen, about your training, I remember I never understood how many kilograms did you use when you were doing the famous 1017 reps of leg press?
It's only about 250. It's close to 500 pounds.
250 pounds?
No, it was 500 pounds, so about 200 kilos.
Oh my goodness. So with 200 kilo, you did 1017 repetitions.
And 17. Yeah, because Joe Gold was there. My friend started off, I bet you can't do 100, so I did 100, but you can't do 200. So I kept, but can't do friends. I just kept going. I got to a point, it took almost half an hour, but I never racked it. I could stop and hold it. But the thing was, halfway through though, it was really weird because your feet are up, you know, your quads are burnt out, your fucking hamstrings kick in, your glutes kick in, but then towards the end, my legs went numb, so it's like I couldn't even feel my feet on the thing. Even though I'm doing it, I can't feel what I'm doing, and that. So it was funny, but they were sore for like 2 weeks after.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. But also about strength in the short reps, you were amazing. 775 pounds for 6 reps of squat.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to use like 200-pound dumbbells and all that sort of stuff, and I used to press 4 plates behind the neck and all that sort of thing.
If you may recommend a kind of approach in this training, which the people should use. High reps, high volume, or
I always found for upper body, I found 6 to 8. If I was using free weights, if I do the machine or cable, I might go 10 to 12. But legs are a whole different ball game. Legs pretty much will respond to anything, because I remember I used to go heavy on legs, 6 to 8 reps. But then my legs started getting too big, so I went lighter and did higher reps, and they started growing again. So legs are one of those body parts you can do a bit of everything. But I always just listen to my body too. If I felt like I was going to go heavy, I would. But then if you have a day where you're like, it just doesn't feel right, I'd go a bit lighter. Whereas some people like, I did 3 plates this week, I got to do it again, And sometimes warming up there at 2, but I got to do 3.
So you say that you listen to your body.
Yeah, listen to your body. If you feel strong, go heavy. If something doesn't feel right,
but
go
basically with the free weight,
but then you recommend exercise for you, or some exercise that people should avoid anyway.
Yeah, I always say bench. You know, bench is good, but some people, their egos kick in. They want to go heavy. I want to go for 1. And I've always said, you're a bodybuilder. You're not a power lifter. Don't go for 1 rep max. I've seen so many bodybuilders' careers end. I want to do a bench, tear their pec. There's your bodybuilding career pretty much gone. So doing stupid shit like that. And if you're going to do it too, do proper form. Like if you're going to do a leg press, don't load it up and then just go. You got to go all the way down and all the way up. Because I see these young kids put 10, 15 plates on. Their legs are like this, and they're going, hands on their knees, pushing. I'm like, you're not even working the muscle. But it's just their ego.
Time I work with 1,000 reps.
It's like you're working the egos. You're not working the muscle at all.
But you say that if you use dumbbell and barbell, you stay 6 to 8. If you use machine, you keep higher reps.
Little bit, yeah.
So
But I always prefer free weights, but it's always good to incorporate both. You know, free weights, you're going to use your stabilizing muscles, you've got to use your core strength more. And when you look back over history, the guys that used the free
That's it.
weights had more of that big, thick, like even Samson. Samson looks great, but you go back to the days of someone like Bird or Fox or someone where they got that real thick, dense muscle. There was no fancy machines back then. It was just all heavy weights. The only machine we had back then was a lat pull down or a seated row. We didn't have all these back machines and chest machines. So if you want to build a good foundation and get the big freaky muscle, you've got to use free weights and be fucking heavy and go
Yes,
for
the
it. You know?
stimulation that get the free
But
bar
is,
is
do you,
completely,
is that
for me,
the
it's
same?
different than the stimulation I have, even the
About
heaviest.
Federico, I would like to ask you. I would like to ask him. Okay, if there is a different kind of approach to the training system when you are 20, 30, 40, 50.
Oh, as you get a bit older, I used a bit more machines just to be safe, like so I don't, I wouldn't go barbell row and 4 plates as I got older. I might use a machine and that to get the blood there. Then I might do barbell row because it's already pumped with blood, go a bit lighter. But you just got, that's where it comes down to being smart and knowing your limits. You can't go, oh, when I was 20, I did this. Well, you're not 20 anymore. So, you just got to you got to adjust things. And like I said, now, because I've got a few little injuries, I use a few more machines now, but I still try and do some free weights, just so, like I said, you keep the balance there and stuff.
Yeah. And tell me about some gossip about the 90s that I want to know, that maybe many people want to know, about the parties of Craig Titus. And because I remember that when I was in USA, I was with Katie Johansson. Do you remember Katie Johansson? Yeah, we've been together for a couple of years and 1 year and a half. And when we were in Vegas, that she was to compete, and that day, Phil Heath turned pro. He won the NPC in 2005, and I remember that there was Titus and Kelly Ryan, and Kelly Ryan made a proposal to Katie to join. And I said, no, look. I don't know this kind of things. I'm not good in this. So
when I lived in Venice, California, Craig used to come to my place for barbecues all the time, and he was always funny and stuff. But I was very annoyed when I heard he had a barbecue in the desert, didn't fucking invite me.
The Jaguar.
But that's the thing, like Craig had those parties. Chris was a party, but me, I never went to one party. Once the contest was over, I just go back to my hotel room, get room service, and watch movies on the TV. I never went to one after party.
Yeah, better like this, because I heard many funny stuff.
I saw, like, we used to go to we'd have to go to the VIP party after the contest, and I remember being there. And one year, Bill Phillips from EAS,
Yes,
they were taking like party drugs. They were taking party drugs, and I can't remember who it was. One of the fitness girls, she was laying on the floor in her own urine, and then Bill Phillips fucking pissed his pants. They were so